What's going on, family, and welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And thank you for clicking on this channel. Today we're going to be going over No Exit. I saw this movie on Hulu just recently, and this movie definitely caught me by surprise. Didn't know anything about the movie, just was scrolling down Hulu a few days ago, seeing if, they put anything new. Lord and behold, this was one of the new films. And, automatically clicked on it, saw the trailer. I said, you know what, let me give this a go. And this was an excellent film. Starting off with No Exit is actually an adaptation of the 2017 novel of the same name by Taylor Adams. This film is directed by Damian, whose previous effort was the well-regarded 2016 horror film Killing Ground, which was written by Andrew Barrer and Gabrielle Ferrari, whose previous credits include Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was critically maligned, and Die in a Gunfight, while appearing on an annual blacklist of best unproduced screenplays. They definitely took this movie and they made something special. No Exit takes a small-scale premise and creates a suitably twisty and engaging thriller. And if you've been following me for some time now, I love thrillers. These are the best movies that we don't even get to see anymore. They don't make movies like this anymore. And I was really happy because this movie kept me engaged. It kept me seated for the most part, even though, you can pause because it's a streaming service, but, you definitely don't want to do that. You want to stick around. And this movie had a lot of different aspects, had a lot of twists, and very enjoyable. This was a solid thriller featuring a breakout performance by Havana Rose Liu, who plays a girl named Darby Thorne, who's a troubled young woman reluctantly in a court-mandated rehab in Sacramento, California, due to her, drug use. And she's alerted later on that her mother suffered a brain aneurysm and is now in a hospital, but her doctor is unavailable to sign off any paperwork or outside communication or furlough. So out of desperation, Darby steals one of the facility workers' vehicles, having the intent on driving to Salt Lake City and to visit her mother in the hospital, despite her estrangement from her family, and who made it clear that they don't want her there. They don't want no parts of her there until she actually gets better. But bad weather causes road closures, and Darby is directed to visitors' rest center, where obviously they're going to keep people there so that way they can stay there till the morning at least, until the weather clears up, so that way they can get back on the road and go where they're going. And there she meets Danny Ramirez, David Rysdahl, who plays Lars and Ash respectively, and she tries in vain to get a signal in the parking lot, and she comes across a beat-up windowless van where a child is bound and gagged in the back. And that's when basically the story starts, because she's unable to call 911, and now she must figure out who the strangers in this actually visitors resting stop is the ones responsible having this girl in a van. So that premise alone, very, very interesting. This girl, Havana Rose, obviously this is her first stint, her first lead, her first movie. And as a lead, she knocked it out the ballpark for me. First time playing a lead, having done a handful of supporting work before this. We get some solid moments of her dealing with her past trauma, showing sides of acerbic cynicism and emotional vulnerability. And with the more physical, challenging aspects of this film that come through later in the film especially, we realize that this could be a star in the making, especially the performance that she exudes is something worth watching. Especially the movie was being, especially a movie like this, which is limited to one location pretty much throughout the whole film. It's predicated upon having a strong supporting cast, and we get that with an eclectic bunch of actors making this story very appealing. And it wasn't only her, believe it or not. We had a lot of strong, relatively newish actors like Danny Ramirez and David Rysdahl. Damian shows a solid handling this type of limited location thriller with solid establishment of the visitor center and surrounding locales, and you feel the bitterness of the cold, the oppressiveness of the isolation of where they are, and the tension and unease of the group with every moment. The script was well written, it's taught, it's well paced, with character, situation, development, and it stakes effectively established while keeping the audience on edge. I was definitely on edge throughout this whole film. For the most part of the movie, it's framed from Darby's point of view. So we're pretty much in her shoes as she's trapped in this building in the middle of nowhere with no way out. The ilk of it was that, but I wasn't completely sold on one revelation towards the last act, which is the third act. And admittedly, it wasn't a breaker for me personally, but I felt the movie overextended itself a bit in how certain things were connected, but your mileage may vary. You know, some definitely would like the way that came across. Some would like that direction towards the film. And for me, like, then, you know, you're going to have others who don't really care. Doesn't do anything for them. It really didn't do anything for me. I'm just nitpicking right now. But No Exit is a solid thriller anchored by a talented and breakout lead in Havana Rose Liu as this Darby Thorne character with a strong supporting cast and a strong sense of isolation and unease created by this director, Damian. Look out for him. I think he's going to come up with some great work in the future. And this was a well-paced script. No Exit makes for some good thrills, and it don't let up until the end. You know, this was nonstop from beginning to the end, which was very fascinating. You know, movies like this sometimes, you know, take the edge off a little bit, and they go in later on just to give you that breathing room, but this one goes all in. The movie doesn't quite stick the landing with one of its revelations towards the end of the movie, like I was saying, for me personally anyways. But aside from that one point, I actively engaged in this movie, and I recommend it very highly. You know, this, to me, wasn't lacking anything. You know, the only drawback is that the heroine's addiction doesn't inform the storytelling in this. Drugs do play a part, but just as a plot point, and the virtue seeking and the resolution is really a gimmick used by a holy roller reformed types to leave the past behind them rather than explore what it's really all about. And to put it another way, this is a straight thriller. It's not a psychological thriller, which we get here and there nowadays, which is pretty cool. But this is definitely a roller coaster of a ride. It's full of intensity, and it's not gonna let up until the very last second. So you definitely go enjoy this. I give this movie 8.5 out of 10. A solid 8.5 out of 10. One of the better movies I've seen this year, including movies that I've seen in the theater. So definitely go and check it out. And if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. And if you want more content from me, all you gotta do is subscribe to the next one. Peace.